Welcome everyone to We the Brilliance TV. I'm your host Ankush. Today a notable personality from Tamil Nadu, M.M. Abdullah Sahib is with us. M.M. Abdullah Sahib is a well-known minority face of DMK and is Deputy Secretary of State IT Cell there. Welcome Abdullah sir. Sir, today I would like to ask you few basic questions that has been often quoted in northern media. Hope you will give clarity to them. Sir, Periyar is one of the great founder of Dravidian movement. He is being celebrated as a social justice figure all over the India. But some of his criticizers label him as a British too. What is your answer on it?
Because Periyar was in Congress. He was a Congress leader. Congress was started to get the freedom from the British people, is it? He's a patriot. He was against to the British people. That's why he joined in the Congress and he became a leader of Congress. Okay. Then how he could be a stooge, a British stooge? So basically it is a baseless statement. But I'm telling you why they are telling like that. Because he was against to the freedom. Why he was against the freedom, I have to explain you. When he was in Congress, he see the discrimination in the Congress by the top leaders. Those time upper caste people, they were the top Congress leaders. He has seen so many discrimination within the party done by the top people, top leaders who belongs to the upper caste. So he got afraid when we get the freedom, the power will go to the upper caste. When he was in Congress, upper class people, they literally stopped the backward class people come to the power within the Congress. In front of British eyes, we are all Indians. You are Indian, I am an Indian. He may be a upper caste, he may be a scheduled caste, he may be a religious minority. In the eyes of British, in front of British, we are all Indians. So there is no discrimination by the British people. So he got the afraid. Periyar got afraid. Once we get the freedom, the discrimination will be more by the upper caste people. So we will settle them the first. Then we will get the freedom. It was his stand and statement.
Sir, my second question is, another big allegation is that Dravidian movement is actually anti-Hindu. Is that true?
No, it is not a Hindu, it is a pro-Hindu. Actually, we are fighting for reservation. Okay. In Tamil Nadu, we have 69% of reservation in all the education and employment and everything. Okay. Who are all the 69% people? They are all Hindus. They are not Muslim, they are not Christians, they are not Parsis, or they are not Sikhs, they are not any other religion. That 69% people are. We got the reservation of 69%. That 69% are the Hindus. Are the Brahmins are the only Hindus in India? You're not a Hindu?
Yeah.
Or others are not a Hindu? How can we say Dravidian movement is against Hinduism? Actually, Dravidian movement is pro for all the Hindus. They are asking the equal rights for every Hindu. RSS is for 3%, 4% Hindus, and Dravidian movement is for 97% Hindus.
Sir, another question is, DMK has announced a lot of subsidies, free or free buy, throughout their vote politics in history. Why is it so? Is it just a trick to get vote or some real strategy is behind that?
It is not a freebie. Before that, we have to understand the social justice. All the economic development of Tamil Nadu built on the foundation of social justice. We are providing food for the children in the school. It is called as a midday meal scheme. So government is spending allotting and spending the money in each and every budget. When we just look into that, it looks as a freebie. I was the person who got the midday meal in my school. When food was offered in the school, children went to the school instead of going to job. Okay. So many children in Tamil Nadu in those days, not only those days, even now they are going to school only because of that meal. They are getting one day meal, on lunch they are getting in the school, so they are going to the school. So for example, from 1st standard to 10th standard, government has spent say 8 to 10,000 rupees for my lunch. Okay, it is unnecessary expenses or freebie done by the government in your view. But I am telling you, government invested in me 10,000 rupees. So I went to the school after I did my school. I went to the college. Now I am earning I am paying back the taxes and all. Government spent only 10,000 rupees for my food. It means government invested 10,000 rupees to me, but every year I am paying 50,000, 60,000, 70,000 or 1 lakh as a tax to the government. It is actually not a free. Government is investing in a human being and getting back from that development. For a better understanding, I tell you an example. In Tamil Nadu, for all the children, polio drops is free. It is giving free by the government. Okay. Up to the age of 6, I got a polio drop as a free from the government. So every year 10 rupees means 60 rupees spent by the government to me. Government invested on Abdullah, invested 60 rupees on Abdullah. Because of that vaccination, now I am able to work anything. I am not a disabled person. So government invested in me 60 rupees. The government made me as a very good healthy person. So since I am healthy, I am working hard. I am earning hard. Out of the earning, I am paying tax to the government. So government spend only 60 rupees as a fee for the vaccination to me. But every year, 1,000 lakhs of rupees I am giving to government as a tax, as a payback one. So will you say it as a free or an investment on human being? What will you say now?
Yeah, sir, it's an investment, sir.
Yes. It is not a free base. There is no word free in a social justice government. Whatever you give for the people upliftment, so you invest on the people and people will give back to the government out of it.
Periyar never allowed a Brahmin in DK. In fact, it's one of the important conditions mentioned in DK rule. But DMK and ADMK has been different from that. Brahmin woman had been the CM of Tamil Nadu for many years. Don't you think this is an oxymoron?
No, it is not oxymoron because DK is different from the DMK and ADMK. We follow the principle of Periyar. We are also a Dravidian movement, no doubt. But DK is not in electoral politics. Okay, it is a only social organization. They are fully into social activities. DMK and ADMK, they are in electoral politics. Though she is a Brahmin, Ms. Jayalalitha, madam, though she is a Brahmin, she didn't follow the other ideology. She followed only Dravidian ideology. Because of that only, people believed in her and voted her and elected her as a CM. If she kept some other policies, people would have not selected her as a CM.
Sir, the Dravidian movement and Hindutva movement, they started almost in the same time. But Hindutva organizations have grown up all over the India. But the Dravidian movement has remained inside the Tamil Nadu only. Why is it?
When Periyar started the Dravidian movement, he was crossed his age, 50, 55. He was in late 50s. So because of the age factor, he reduced his activity within the Tamil Nadu because he was traveled throughout the Tamil Nadu. The followers, successors should have gone out of Tamil Nadu. They should have gone to the north and other part. In Uttar Pradesh, one Periyar Studies Circle also started by DK, but I don't know, it was not working in a full swing. But now I believe, now from Bihar, from Patna, Ankush is talking with me right now. Now I'm in Patna. Okay, literally now I'm sitting in Chennai, but now I'm in Patna. So now the technology will be driven the Dravidian ideology. I feel, and I hope.
Yeah. Sir, you are a Muslim member in DMK party. In national politics, there were a lot of Muslims who contributed to this nation. Kaithe Milat is one of the greatest examples from Tamil Nadu. But if we see in 50 years of Dravidian politics, no Muslim leader have raised to the top in the party. Why is it so?
For this question, you have to understand some basic thing. Tamil Nadu Muslim is different from the other part of Indian Muslim. For other part of Indian Muslim, religion plays the primary role. But in Tamil Nadu Muslim, linguistic play the primary role. We feel ourselves Tamilian first. Then we feel ourselves as a Muslim second. As a first thing, we are a Tamilian. As a second thing, we are Muslims. My mother tongue is the Tamil, so I am a Tamilian first. So my practicing religion is a Muslim, so Islam, so I am a Muslim. But in Uttar Pradesh or Haryana or your Bihar or wherever it may be, in their Muslim feel them as a Muslim first. Their linguistic is play the secondary role or third role. I don't know exactly. But in Tamil Nadu Muslims, linguistic is the primary role. In Qaida Millat period, in those days, before 60 years, there were no big development of Dravidian movement. In those days, only two movements was there in India. One is a Congress movement and another one is a Muslim League. So in Congress, they were not protecting Muslims' right and their life properly. So it was a necessary in Tamil Nadu for a Muslim movement, say Muslim League. So in that way, Qaida Millat emerged and he grown up. But after the Dravidian movement is protecting all the rights of minorities, linguistic, religious minorities. So they are looking us as a Tamilian, and we are looking them as a Tamilian. So I may be a minority I may be a religious minority, but I am a majority in linguistic. I am a linguistic majority in Tamil Nadu. So Dravidian movement is protecting all my rights and interests. So it is not necessary for me to come forward myself. Okay, when you are protecting my rights, then why should I come forward? When Ankush is fighting for my rights, then why should I come forward? Oh, this is what happening in Tamil Nadu. That Dravidian movement is fighting for Muslims' rights. So there is no need for a single Muslim leader to come forward and fight for the rights. This is the difference.
Muslims in India are either very poor or very rich. Muslims are struggling a lot up in life and become victims of Hindutva gun and atrocities. And they are an easy target for the police for any unlawful activity. Most of them aren't in the government job, but have their things of own, like business, specifically in trade. They are in trading and retail business enterprises. But still, why such poverty exists in them?
As you told, they are in two extremes. Once they are rich or they are in very poverty, but majority of their below the poverty line. In Sachar committee also, it has clearly explained. Their life is good in the state of Kerala and Tamil Nadu. That mainly because they depend on the Arab country work or Singapore or Malaysia. They went as a laborers or they went as a traders. In that way, in South India, they are good. Not in all South India, but in Kerala and Tamil Nadu, their life is little better compared with the other state. But in other state, they were mostly in the military job in Mughals period or in Sultan's period. And after the British period, as a part of the freedom fighting, they denied the English study. The fatwa was given to Muslim that you should not study the English to show their agitation to British people. So in that way, they lack with the education also. After the freedom, so they were lacking the education. They were not in a proper social environment. In North India, mostly they are in a labor class. Not only Muslim, in any religion, labor class is the only victim. They may be a scheduled class, or they may be a minority, or they may be a backward class. If you are a labor class, you will be the victim for any bad thing. So it is applicable to Muslims also. To come out from the problem, proper reservation to be given all over the India from the central government. So when we get the reservation, based on that we can come up. These people who are in the poverty line, they can come up in the life. It happened in Tamil Nadu also. After we get a 3.5% reservation from the government, now we are sitting in all the departments, including police department, in all the government work, in all the colleges. We are getting reservation, made our life well. So it is very, very necessary. In Sachar committee also it was described. It is very necessary to give a reservation for Muslim in India.
Thanks for all your answers. It's so nice to meet you.
Thank you.